Here we go now.
There we go. Hey everyone, this is the podcast We Are the Change. I'm Belita Stoke, and we are here with
The Ortega Brothers, Ricardo Ortega, and George Ortega.
Woo! This is going to be such a special episode for me because I've actually worked with them personally on their sets. And I wanted to bring them on to show a little bit of inspiration for the next generation of filmmakers here in Oxnard College.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you for having us.
Of course. Let's start with your education here. You guys actually went to Oxnard College. I want you guys to talk about that.
Yeah.
We did, in fact.
Yeah, we came to Oxnard College and we studied film here and other courses as well, business and writing, English, math, all our basics. And but we came here and we studied film and we learned a lot of the basics that we still implement to this day.
Yeah. There was we used to be in a different building over here next to the library. At the time, like they had OCTV.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't know if like the course still has that, but
were you guys involved with that as well?
Yeah.
Super cool.
Like each person would get to direct a show.
That's so cool.
Yeah, so like we kind of like split up the duties, and then so we had like different segments that each group had like a segment where it was like what was the segments like
downtown chow, where they would like showcase a local restaurant.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah. And then other people would showcase like students in the film program. Forget what the other ones.
Different courses that you could take at the school. Like sports. So like we kind of like
OC sports.
Yeah.
So that it was cool because then like you got to direct
Yeah.
and like whatever you were into. Like if you wanted to be a camera person, then like you could stay on the cameras. If you wanted to direct, which is like a lot more responsibility, right? Because you got to worry about this. You got to worry about everybody.
Yeah.
So like I know George directed a few. I directed a few, which was like super cool, and then it was good. It got us like very exposed to the industry, and at the time the instructor was Andres Orozco.
Okay.
And so he was also like in the movie business, I guess, or the film business, where he would like kind of always pushing us to write and direct our own stuff. And I remember one of the last semesters I was here, he picked 3 of the shorts, like out of like I think there was probably like 5 or 6, right? Like 5 or 6 people that submitted shorts, and he ended up picking 3, and then like we ended up shooting the
short.
The shorts, yeah.
Did you guys put one in? Were you chosen?
I don't think that we did. Did we do one?
I think the year before we did.
Yeah.
The year before.
I think we just took a step back and helped everybody with their film. So we were able to help on everybody's film that way. So I think we didn't.
I'm trying to remember
what. I think we did a music video the year before.
Oh yeah.
And what was cool about that professor is he had his own professional gear. And
that's fun.
And he actually let the groups that were picked for it were actually able to use his gear. And so that was fun. That was, a learning experience. And it was, just a little bit more polished product at the end. So it was a good experience doing that. I almost forgot about those segments.
A little throwback.
Yeah. Yeah. And one of our friends now, he was younger than us. And, when we started taking the classes, when I started, I took them very seriously. And I think before we came aboard, it was kind of like the film program was kind of like a club where people would hang out and have fun. But I really wanted to pursue this as a career. So when I started coming to the classes, I kind of like took initiative.
Yeah.
And the teacher let me. So I just ran with it. I made everything more serious and more professional. And I really, and everybody kind of soaked it up and they kind of went along with it. So I'm like, okay, let's just be more serious about the projects. And then, and so it kind of like, we kind of like changed that. And the teacher, I think, was the professor was very welcoming to that because he was very serious about film too. And so we just kind of changed it and kind of made it more like you can do this.
And people need that because other kids, when they do something and they're involved and excited, that doesn't mean they know how to do things or like step up because that's a skill. You have that skill. You were a leader and you were able to lead the rest of them into making a full-fledged project.
Yeah, and you do need the encouragement, and you do when you want to accomplish something. That doesn't mean you have to know how to do it first. The first thing to do is deciding whether you want to do this or not. If you decide that you want to do something in life, you'll figure out how to do it after you decide what you want to do. You don't have to know everything first. So, and that's important. That's a lesson that I've learned, through all the years. Like, I always don't know how to do something, but I will figure it out.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's like, I think I learned that I saw my brother doing that, Because
you inspired him.
Yeah, no, for sure. No, most definitely. Because when he was already taking courses, he was already taking like the film classes and stuff, and then he had a project he was working on, and he's like, "Hey, you want to help me with this project?" I was like,
"Were you in high school at the time?"
No, I was already like,
I was an older student.
Yeah, we were older.
Okay.
We were older. Like we went and we're already having our own.
Like,
nice, yeah.
But we just wanted something.
And I'm there too. I get it.
So we were older. We were older, and that's kind of what let us take charge.
Yeah.
Of the class.
So then I started taking courses, but it was also kind of cool too because like we had, like how you were saying, like we already had some life experience.
That helps. Oh my God, so much.
So then you kind of bring that into what's going on. It's like we brought that into what was going on in the film program. Where it was like, just kind of like make it happen. So it was cool. It was definitely like a amazing experience and then like seeing an idea in your head and then like making it, putting the work in to make it come to life.
Make it come to life.
Yeah.
It's such a crazy process because you're just doing a bunch of images, just pulling it together, and then when you actually see it, like this podcast, I was like, wow, we're doing it. That's crazy. And it just shows too because you guys work so hard. Now you have Ortega Brothers Vision. So, and you've worked on an amazing set. What's one that to this day you just love talking about?
I think all our projects are special. I feel like the one that always comes to mind for me, one of my favorites is that we did during COVID. Before COVID, my brother and I were working in our production company, but we would take projects on how much money can we make from this? What's the budget? How can we, not really exactly what we wanted to do. We're more looking at film as a business, and it is a business. And that's how we came into it, is like thinking of, let's make some money. I want to keep growing. I want to keep buying new equipment. So this is a business. And, for a few years we had this mindset of, not really like, what do we want to do? How can we make money? Which is not a bad way to look at things. It's art. This is art, but it's also an expensive medium.
Yes.
You need money. You need lights. You need to buy lunch for your actors. You need to pay your actors. You need all the lights. Sometimes you need the new gadgets that are coming out. You need to update your camera. You need good audio equipment. So it is a business. And during COVID, all our business stopped. But we didn't panic. We just said, we looked at each other and we're like, we get to hang out all day for like weeks and weeks. And we said, this will never happen again. And let's take advantage of it. And the new Sony camera came out, and we bought it. We're so excited. That was, we've been in the industry already like 12 years, and that was like the first time that we bought a brand new camera. You know, all the
That's
other
really
cameras,
exciting.
yeah,
That's
all the other
exciting.
cameras we bought, they were used. You know, we buy them on Craigslist, try to get a good deal. You know,
Yeah.
and people that like, you know, just buy used equipment because for us that made more sense as a business.
Yeah.
The new A7S III came out, and we're so excited to get it, and we had it, and so we're just sitting at home. We're like, what do we want to do? What is it that we want to show? What is it? And you know, my brother and I were heavy into our culture. We're heavy into family, and so we decided to do
Cars.
We're heavy into cars. We're heavy into the lowrider scene and the culture and just the beauty of life in general, but our culture specifically. And so we said, let's make a Dia de los Muertos video, and it was fun, and we really that was one that we just did because that's what we wanted to do. And so we went about writing the story, casting it, seeing things that we had already, and you know, we it was COVID, so we had to hire people that we knew, and some family members. So and we've trained our family already. They know like we're gonna come with the crazy ideas, and they're gonna help us, and you know, and so we some of our family, most of the actors were family and friends, and then we got our locations, and that was a video that we put out just for fun, just because that's what we wanted to do purely. And that's the video that got us noticed and kind of got us to the next level of our career. So that's one of my favorite videos.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Like as far as like my filmmaking stuff, I kind of I enjoyed like the time that I was here at learning here at Oxnard College. I look back at that time, and it was like the most fun because, well, I mean, I guess it's still happening now where like you're creating things for like the first time, or like you're kind of keep pushing
the building
the
blocks.
envelope. Yeah, you're like, oh, can we do this? How are we gonna do this? So it's like that's like the thing that I loved about like kind of learning, because I was learning it for the first time. It's like now I keep chasing that like that trying to create it. But now it's like it's now I don't think it's as much fun as back then, because like now it's like the expectations are there. And,
now it's like, wow, it's work.
It's like exactly. Yeah, it's like
this isn't just some fun creative stuff I get to do. I gotta put in the work to make this happen.
I gotta
lock
make
in.
it happen, you know, which is cool, you know.
Yeah, that is sometimes that is like a lot of pressure. Sorry if I cut you off.
They're like, do it again.
Yeah, because so the thing is that we've come up with like really cool things that we film, and so it's like I don't know how we came up with it, and I don't really know like where the idea came from or how we filmed it. It's like this magic that happened. With the actors, with us, with the DPs, and just this magic that happened, and people are like blown away by it, and then they want us to replicate that. It's like, how? I don't know how I did it the first time.
Moment
it was just something that we planned, but then we also just improvised and we did this, and it just came out like amazing. Like sometimes. Yeah, you know, not to toot our own horn, but sometimes we see our own work, and I'm like, damn, how did we did that? That's pretty good. So, and sometimes we are fighting with like, oh, this sucks, and then people see it and they're like, they love it. And we're like, oh.
They have no idea that you went through all the crap.
Yeah.
All these little problems that happen, it's like we get so in our heads, but if you just push it out, people are usually very receptive.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's like. That learning process, I think that time here at Oxnard College was like that, where I was learning a lot of those things, like kind of starting to understand, you know, story and like a lot of things like from like watching, I guess, TV and movies and stuff, where you like kind of notice things, and then now putting like those concepts into like work on the story. Like it makes it cool that like those ideas, like you're understanding why you do those things, you know. It's like I would always notice things in stories, but so it's cool. Like that was like kind of like learning. I guess kind of like the rules of filmmaking or like the methods of filmmaking here at Oxnard College. So I always kind of like look back at that because it's really like the foundation of everything we do now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think in the screenwriting program, it was kind of learning the names of like the inciting incident and learning all the techniques of writing, and giving them a name, before like the name of the theory, because that's how my brother and I were like watching TV all our lives, and I'm just remembering and just soaking up all this stuff. And then it was funny, like when we're in like writing our screenwriting class, it was kind of like the Matrix where you see things for the first time. Like,
you're all right.
Understand all these things you've been seeing. You kind of know what they are now. It's like just eye-opening. It's like, wow. Like, I know what that is. I know when, I never was the greatest student. So when I would have to learn something in school, it's more like a task of memorizing it. And I don't think I ever really learned anything, but that was such a great moment where actually I know what the teacher's talking about. Like, I know this, like I'm actually learning this right now. So it was great in our screenwriting class. It was one of my favorites.
When it comes to filmmaking, what parts do you guys kind of gravitate more since you work together? Like, are you like, I'll do this, you do that, because, either you butt heads or it's like, I don't like doing that, so you do that. What parts do you like more and which parts are you like, bro, do that?
Paperwork.
I was like, I like doing paperwork.
I don't know, like as far as like directing, when we're like, I think when we're directing and writing and like kind of coming up with concepts, I feel like if George comes up to me, and that's like the cool thing about finding people that you creatively like
mesh,
like kind of see eye to eye, like we both are seeing the same thing, right? And I mean, it helps that George is my brother, right? Because we've been
grew up together, kind of know how each other think.
Yeah, so then and we both want the same thing. Like we both want the best product to come out, right?
Yeah.
So it's like if George comes, sometimes George will come at me with an idea, and I'm like, I don't see what you're talking about,
You're like,
I'm like, yeah, like I don't. But like the cool thing is that like now. I trust him. I trust him that he knows. I say, I'll be like, okay, like if you see it, because I don't see it yet. So I'll be like, if you see it, then go. Like you go with it. Yeah, you take the lead, and I'll just back you up. And then like 9 times out of 10, like once like it's going, I'm like, oh, okay. All right, and then boom, and then I see like once he kind of starts to put the first few steps or directing in motion, then it's like, oh shit, okay, yeah. Now I see what you're saying. So like, and then that's kind of like the like cool creative process like that we have with each other, where it's like vice versa too, because I'm like, we need to do this.
Yeah.
And he's like,
that's trust is big, and I think during the times, I have learned to trust my brother more. And to trust,
I'm the little brother.
That's why. But I feel like I've learned to to do that too, and I think for me it was harder. I'm such a control freak, and I need to know everything that's gonna happen. And so I've learned to, with my brother, I trust him. I do trust him completely now. It's like when he says something, I don't see it, and I've learned to let go. And I've done that before, and then it's like I let him like just, okay, I don't see it, do it. And then later when we're in the editing bay, I'm like, fuck, he saved us with this shot. Yeah. And so I'm like, damn, I'm glad I shut my mouth and let him do his thing, because he did save us. And so it's like that shot was like my favorite shot. I wasn't even going to do it. And then it turned out like my brother had this idea, and then it's like, wow, like, you saved the whole thing with this one shot. So it's like, so after, I've learned to I am sometimes I hold on too tight to an idea because it's my idea and I feel like that's right.
It's your baby.
It's like I know that it's right because that's what I feel. But I've learned to maybe sometimes it's just let go and then see. You can have your idea, you can plan do this, but then at some you just gotta let go. So yeah, I mean, I do. It's good to trust my brother, and I do trust him, and it's like it's good to have that person there. And I know he wants the best for me and for the project and vice versa. So it's good having that. And we have other crew members that we trust, but not like my brother. It's just like, I already know it's going to come out good.
Yeah. And that doesn't always happen.
No.
Because, I mean, the fact that you were interested in the film industry as well, not only that, but now your ideas mesh together.
Yeah.
That is such a... Is it kismet? No, that's not the right one. I think that's more romantic. Let's not talk about that. But it's such a good mesh because that doesn't have... my sister. You know me from my sister. I love that girl. She's my homegirl.
So
yeah, she's the best. So that's my sister. But we do end up, like you said, we ended up clashing. We worked on sets together on your sets.
Right.
And I've had times where I'm like, well, you should do this. She's like, shh. And I'm like, I thought you wanted me to come here to help. And she's like, oh, right. She has to do it easy because she's the older sister. So she's used to being like, hey. I have to be. But I'm like, why am I here then?
I think, that kind of was the relationship at first, but I think over time.
Yeah.
And I remember this video that we did for Danny de La Paz.
Yeah.
Which I sent you the link, so if you guys get to play it before, after, or during, feel free. And then I remember we were editing in the editing bay the night before we released this. And we got into the biggest argument because we seen it. We were there during the planning process. We're there during the production. We're there during the filming. We're there during the editing. So to us, it's like we've seen this thing a million times. And I don't know why we thought this. We're like, this sucks. This I don't know what the fuck we were thinking. Sorry if I curse. I'm like, I don't know what we were thinking. Like, this is like, people are going to hate this. And then we got into this big fight, and then we put it out the next day when it was due, and people saw it, and it started getting a big traction, and people were loving it. Even to this day, people comment on it, and then it's like, and now but it was just funny that we're so like just such a dark moment. Like we got into this big fight, and then it's like.
And then it came out.
I don't know why we did, and then we just it just kind of came out, and then we're like, and then I realized I was like, oh wait, this was good. I don't know why the hell.
You get in your head though because you work on it so much that it's just like, well, we could have done this, and this different. But it's like, when it comes to the major public, they don't know those things. Yeah. They don't think that you need to cut out that little butt of a clip because
they take it as well.
Yeah. All you see is the mistakes.
Yeah.
You see the mistakes. Oh, man, we should have done this. But
I think that's what, as far as filmmaking, or I guess in whatever, I'm sure it applies to anything. It's you always you just see you want it to be the best it could be.
Yeah.
So it's and once you're looking at something for so long, it's just
it looks like horrible.
All you see is your mistakes.
Yeah.
Why didn't I hold that longer? Or why didn't I do this? And then when someone outside that hasn't been staring at this thing for months or however long comes and looks at your project, they're blown away because they see it and its entirety, not every little mistake.
Little bits that that we see as the creative made it. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. So we talked about paperwork. I know that sucks. But I wanted to ask, what is you guys have filmed in Oxnard, right? Yeah, what is the process? Because LA, it's insane. You got to do all these permits. Is it a lot easier here in Oxnard? Is it kind of just, I'm going to do whatever I want?
I think they're more friendly here than in LA. I think in LA, it's just more of a business. And so people, even not officials or people not in the industry. I've been filming on the streets in LA, and people want to ask for your permit. You know, it's like I mean, I don't know. I just like I'm the camera operator.
Yeah, I don't know anything about that. That's not my jurisdiction.
And the production I had, they had it. They did have their permits, and so they went. They talked to them, and it's just a little different. Also in LA, it's like a business too. So when you want to film, like in this restaurant, and it's a film, okay, they're going to charge you 3 times the price to rent it. And here in Oxnard, they might be like, oh yeah, come in, you can film anytime, and they give you free food, and it's a different environment. So I would say in Oxnard, it's more friendly. And now that you brought up that subject, my brother and I are thinking, we're going to be filming a feature film here in Oxnard, and the story takes place in Oxnard, and filming here in Oxnard as well. So. That's fun for us. That's kind of like, and
it's kind of to that like same point where it's kind of to that same point where it's like, the story took place in Oxnard, but it's also like easier to get permits or get like leeway on like filming in the streets or at businesses and stuff.
Yeah, people constantly think I have to go to LA to make it, but it's like if you have a community that loves the arts, and I feel Oxnard does, they've been so inviting to our entire setup. But you can go through and make a whole film for a lot cheaper than in LA.
Yeah.
And then, like you said, you build your way up, and then if you want to go to LA, that's your choice. But a lot of the time, remember your roots. Like you got your fame, you got everything from your community.
Yeah.
Why want to take it to somewhere that's just gonna be like, you're gonna pay $5,000 to even look at me? Like what?
Yeah, and then I think like filming in LA or being in LA, I mean there is its benefits too.
Oh yeah.
It's like social media kind of makes those connections for you. Like people all over the world can see what you're filming. So I think at one point that did matter, having to be like in that. Well, I guess it depends what you're doing, but I think in any way, like social media will connect you to those people. Like how George was saying with that Dia de los Muertos film we made.
We filmed it here in Oxnard.
And like through social media where like people were sharing it, and it's like one of those things like you don't know what's gonna hit, and it just hit, and everyone was sharing it, and the right people saw it,
I think that what was important too about that, it was so community driven. Like Dia de los Muertos, the Oxnard community and the LA community are very similar, very high levels of Chicano community and lowrider community. So the way that way it was able to kind of transcend multiple generations, not only, but different communities, because that's what brought it together.
Yeah.
And people always kind of forget that about Oxnard too. Can you guys talk about it a little bit, lowrider? Also about the Chicano community out here and how you guys connected with it, and
I mean, as far as the Chicano lowrider community, I think that for my brother and I, we've always been connected to it. I think
from birth,
but us filming it kind of for us gave it a new perspective. Like, this is. Yeah, we've always been in this community, but now it's like from a different angle, almost a more useful angle, useful for us and useful for the people we're filming, because we're showing their beauty. Like, look how beautiful they are. Like, you get to see what we see, and look how amazing these cars are. Look how beautiful the people are. Look how rich everything is. Look how we see it. Like amazing, And so we showcase the people we're filming in this like beautiful light, I think.
Yeah, for sure.
And how we've always seen it, like like a lowrider car to us is like other people would see like a Lamborghini or a Bentley. Those cars are beautiful in their own right too. They're nice pieces of of craftsmanship.
Mhm.
But when I see, and they're beautiful, and but when I see a lowrider, it's like more personal and crafted work of art.
Mhm.
It's like, oh, I can tell a lot about the person from this car,
Mhm.
And so, yeah, it's more, we get to see the beauty in that and that personality, and then in the craftsmanship, and their detail, their re-engineering of a car. So yeah.
Well, yeah, lowriders in general, like most of the time, not every single one, even if you get the same Bentley, it's not going to look the same on because it's personalized to whatever they think is the coolest, awesome, everything. And we hold a lot of car shows here, and that's how I kind of got into the lower. My sister, obviously, I can give a lot of props to her, of course. But yeah, growing up, she'd always take me to these lowrider events here in Oxnard, and I had no idea. I think I was like 10 the first time I went, and I had no idea it was such a big part of our community, and it's such an interesting part of Oxnard that not a lot of people honestly know if you're not part of the Chicano community, because we're Filipino, so.
I didn't know Sochi was.
I know, because she lies. She pretends. She's a Chicana. She is at heart, but actually.
She's adopted.
Yeah, adopted.
She's invited to the carne asada.
Yeah. I hope we all are at one point.
Yeah.
Gotta earn our stripes.
When I first started taking film classes, I took one in Moore Park. And the teacher, the whole first class told us that we're not going to make it in the film industry the whole entire time.
This is to all of you watching.
And so
they made it, and they're still in it. Where are you?
And I just want to talk about that.
The film industry is full of no's. When was your guys' first no?
I think one of my first no's was my first film class. Probably even before that, but the one that relates to film is when I started taking film classes, and this was like a few years back. This was before social media, kind of before YouTube. Probably YouTube was probably out, but it wasn't like how it is now, And so our film instructor at the time took the whole first class to tell us that we're not going to make it in the industry, that this is like a cool class to take at night, but it's like a painting class. Like, just have fun with it and don't expect to make a career out of it.
Like, you ain't gonna take it.
You're not gonna make it.
Oh my God! Drop the name.
Yeah. And he just, and he probably meant well.
Yeah.
But you're judging us on that you couldn't make it.
Yeah.
And
also, you're teaching a class. Way to squash everyone.
And in my mind, I was just like, in my mind, I was like, nope, I'm going to make it. I am going to make it. I am going to make it. And you know what? He probably taught me that. He probably just, all I did was be like, no, I am going to make it. I am going to make it. I am. And
he taught you that drive.
That drive, yeah.
Not fully.
And I still do that too. Like now, I still have to have that drive. And there's days too where you'd be like, damn, I should just get a regular job. I should do. But no, it's just that drive. Like, I am going to make it. We are going to make our first feature film. We are going to do this. We are going to get things done. We're going to get the money. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. We're going to finish this. It's going to look great. And so it is that the nose, and other teachers too. Like, there's other students that in the class they say, oh, I want to do this. And the teacher will be like, well, that's kind of a wild idea. You're not going to make it. And it's funny that one of those that I was there at that time and I was like, damn, that's kind of cold. And that student actually fulfilled her dream. And there's a lot of people that we went to school with that are in Hollywood now, fulfilling their dream.
Yeah.
And it's good to see that.
Yeah.
And I've told a few no's too. I remember, remember JP?
Yeah.
And he was in our the segment we were filming.
Okay.
And it was like this young kid named JP. And it was my brother and me and then this other person and JP. And then he told me that, I don't remember this, but I remember he told me the story about this, that I was handing out assignments and then he was just quiet and didn't want to step up somehow. And then when I was giving out assignments for our crew, I told him like, well, you don't worry about it. I know that you're not going to do much, so just relax. And he said that pissed him off so much that he decided to like show me and like that he stepped up and
Reverse
really
psychology.
like just so he was so pissed off at me that I told him that, and he told me this years later, and I just started laughing. I was like,
but that's kind of how it was like at that time, like during the film program, like that, like that's where like I think I don't know if you set that tone of the program or who did, but like when I got there, it was kind of like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just kind of like
you had to step up to
yeah, it's
you
like,
got to say yes.
Are you gonna do it?
Mm-hmm.
And like if you say yes, you're gonna do it. And then like if you wouldn't do it, then like the next time we would just be like, no, just kick it, like just show up,
Mhm.
and like we wouldn't give you an assignment, like oh you're the audio or you're gonna hold the camera or you're gonna set up the lights. We would just be like no, just show.
Mm-hmm.
And then like we would just do it. They would still get credit for the
Heck yeah.
for the project,
Mhm.
but they wouldn't
Get the experience.
They wouldn't because they weren't really they weren't really like serious about it. So it's like we would just be like if you would slack, we'd be like okay, good.
We didn't want the project.
Yeah, you're like, I'll take over right now.
Like if you would slack, we would just be like, no, it's cool. Just sit there
Mm-hmm.
and be cool about it too. Wouldn't like, maybe I would.
I was gonna say y'all better than me because I would do all that, and then the day I'd be like, they didn't do anything. This is all so I did.
And so we just wanted the best for the project. So yeah, but
But then also it would
like that fire.
like if you didn't like that feeling of being told to like just
step aside,
sit in the corner, because some people like it, be like, hey,
I'm gonna do nothing. Yeah, let me go chill real quick.
You're gonna still say I was a part of the project. And be like, yeah, cool.
Yeah,
like
some people love that.
Yeah, some people be like, all right, cool, because it was just like they weren't there for what we were there for.
Yeah.
So, but also too, like hearing those no's, also,
gets you fired.
I'm just like I'm always waiting for someone to tell me no.
Yeah, I'm gonna show you.
It makes me just like
And we hear no still all the time.
I hear from this guy.
Yeah. No.
He told me today.
I had 2 no's on the way here. So but I guess it's also like the way you look at the no. If you're gonna let that no beat you up, or you're gonna turn that no into a yes.
Yeah. Because I don't know how many times I've tried starting something, and then everyone who signed up for it, they're slowly just like go trickling away, and then you gotta do every single little thing. I'm sure you guys have so much experience with that doing project. In those circumstances, what do you guys do? So like, say people keep pulling in and out and out. How does that feel to be like, okay, well now I gotta be audio, now I gotta be cam?
I think for me, if it's a project that you're very passionate about, you just stay and you show up by yourself, and then there has been that where you're like, we're working on stuff, and then people kind of drop out, and it's like they lose interest, which is going to happen. Like when you get an idea, like say you want to start exercising. At first you're like, oh yeah, then after a while you're like, like I'm cool, I'll skip it too. And you stop going.
I walk to work. We're good.
It's like I'm busy. So then always with artistic ideas, it's like at first you go through all these series of like emotions with art. At first you're like, oh, this is the greatest idea in the world. It's gonna be so good. And then you're like, after a while, you're like, oh, wait, what was I thinking when I did this? And then you're like, oh, wait, this is stupid. Like, what the hell am I doing? But if you stick to it long enough, those good ideas, if it was a good idea, we've had bad ideas that you got to let go. And the good ideas, though, you hang on. And people start falling off because when they start thinking, oh, yeah, it's not that great of an idea, they start like showing up. But if you got to just hang on to that and just keep going, don't let go of that idea and just keep developing it. And then, people start showing up again. and then it's like, okay, boom,
Yeah.
okay, more people, different people,
Mhm.
the right people show up.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah, you know what? This is a good idea.
Like I think it's like also to like maybe like a momentum too.
Momentum.
It's like when you keep that like the momentum of the idea,
Mhm.
and you know, like people will start to like kind of like
Build
like
onto
you were
it.
saying,
Yeah.
but it's like you gotta you know, believe.
If you're the
in it.
driving force, you
Yeah,
gotta stay the driving
yeah,
force. Otherwise, it
exactly.
just
It kind of falls off. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's
And-
a lot of pressure too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that is part of filmmaking, though, is holding on to that.
Mm-hmm.
That's, you know, people don't see that part. And that's like more of an emotional part.
Mm-hmm.
And you hold on to it and write it down, take care of it, you know, make drawings of it, get pictures, make a collage. Like that is the part people don't see of the filming, of the art of filming, is like hanging on to those ideas and
Mm-hmm.
doing all that stuff to nourish that idea, to show people what you have in your head. You know, it's that part's tough too.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just like the filming the day of and you get tired, and you know the other parts are exhausting too. Just the creative parts can be pretty exhausting.
Yeah.
But beautiful too, and very, I guess, well worth it when you see that end result. Oh, I know we're taking up a lot of time.
No.
But since
Go
we're
ahead,
in
go
school,
Yeah.
one of the things my professor taught us,
Mm-hmm.
and for the film students, that there's 3 films that you make:
Okay.
the film that you write, the film that you shoot, and the film that you edit.
Mm-hmm.
And all 3 are different. So don't get frustrated and it's good to know that, like, when this film and this film don't match, it's not so frustrating to me now, because I know they're going to be different.
Mm-hmm.
And that's okay. That's just the way that this art is.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm. And not different in like idea, but it's like what you plan out is not always how it
It's gonna end up.
like it's not always how like on set like because things change. It's like okay, that light can't be there. It's got to be here. Okay, or you know.
Mhm.
So it's like you have to make your adjustments to what like life.
Life in general, yeah.
Life in general, yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of what you deal with film is how you deal with life.
Mm-hmm.
And actually that all comes out too. If something goes wrong in life and you're sitting there complaining and whining and being like, oh, this should have been done, that should have been done, that's how you're gonna film.
Mm-hmm.
I think my brother and I think the way we film is like, well, things are gonna go wrong.
Mm-hmm.
We already know things are gonna go wrong. When they do go wrong, let's just try to figure out the best way to fix it and get what we want. And I think that's a lot of way. I think that's how we kind of live our life.
Yeah. And to end this podcast, I just wanted to just remind everyone as well. You're going to hear no's and you're going to hear a lot of people tell you, oh, you're not going to make. They say that because they did it at that specific moment in their life. You have your entire life to chase after your dream. And I think a lot of people forget that. And the film industry really makes you feel if you don't make it in your 20s or 30s, you ain't gonna make it. But that's absolutely not true. I don't know how many people make it in their 50s and 60s. And no one wants to talk about those decades of work they put in. They're just all of a sudden, oh, a brand new star. And it's like, no, you have no idea how much work was put into here to make sure that they were up here. So just to build off on, you will hear a million no's before you hear your yes. And that yes is what's going to help you get up there.
And I know we're trying to end this podcast, but
Well,
Rodney Dangerfield
Yeah.
didn't make it until he was 70.
There you go.
He was like a toothbrush and vacuum door-to-door salesman till he was 70.
Oh, well, there you go. He didn't even have
And one of the greats.
experience before that.
the thing,
Yeah.
also the thing about the no's too. Like a lot of them, you're telling yourself.
Yeah, true.
And
True.
So one thing that my brother
You
told me.
get 500K no's from your own
Yeah,
self.
no, so for real though, it's like
yeah.
you're your biggest, down talker.
Mm-hmm.
So, one thing my brother told me one time, he said that don't tell yourself no. Like if you're going to go ask a question, like you're
Mhm.
going to go ask somebody something, like let them tell you no. Don't
Mhm.
tell yourself no before you even ask the question.
Mhm.
Yeah. So don't tell yourself no.
Don't tell yourself no. Tell yourself yes.
Yeah.
Well,
thank you guys for
Thanks for having us.
coming.
Yeah,
We're
thanks for having
happy
us.
to be back at Oxnard College.
Yeah, alum. Thank you. This is We Are the Change by Melita Stoke. And we had the Ortega Brothers Vision on here.
Power to the people. Here we go now.
And get down now. What?
When I was a student at Oxnard College, they told me no. Well, I said hell no. And I'm here. We gonna make it.
Take two.
Hey everybody, we're the Ortega Brothers. If you want to follow us on social media, Ortega Brothers Vision. You can find us on the internet at ortegabrothersvision.com. Just give us a follow, give us a Google, check out some of our work. We're Oxnard College alumni.
Woo! You guys also did work for the Ventura County system. I totally forgot
Oh
about
yeah,
that.
oh yeah.
We got hired by the school